Welcome to the podcast. Today, I'm going to educate you guys on why real estate investing is better than the bank. So get a notepad, get that pen, take notes, listen up, and stay tuned. Welcome to the Rodney O Podcast. Can you remember back to your first bank account? Were you excited? Did you know what was going on? Were you a teenager? What was happening? Because I know a lot of times parents set their kids up with a bank account. And for me, I didn't have a bank account until I was working. And I went to my parents' credit union, opened up an account, and I was happy, Got my paychecks, would go down there, put the checks in the bank, see my bank account grow, being able to withdraw, buy things I want to buy, etc., etc. But one of the things that was not on my mind was investing. And I think it's a travesty that, at an early age, people don't think about that. But I think schools should do a better job of teaching kids, teenagers, how to grow their money and the best way to do it. And I'm here to say the bank is not it. For all the things that my credit union did growing up as a teenager, it didn't grow my money. And not that my mindset was on growing my money anyway, but there was no incentive to say, hey, if you put your money in here, it will grow by this much. The best they did was offer a crappy interest rate for your checking and your savings. And back then I thought, okay, well, they're giving me something that's better than nothing, right? And I would just keep my money in the bank. And even when I tried to save up, I would just save. And every month I would get pennies, if that, maybe fractions of pennies, on my money being sitting in the bank. And I didn't understand what the bank was doing with the money and anything else like that. But that's what we're going to dive into today, because I think there's a lot of people who may have stories like that one. And there's a lot of adults too who probably have money just sitting in the bank in their savings because it's quote unquote safe. But I'm here to tell you that investing in real estate is a lot better than the bank. We're going to find out how. Welcome to the Rodney O Podcast. Well, today on the Rodney O Podcast, this one is another one of our investing financial series. And so I want to talk today about why real estate investing is better than the bank. And as a quick review, some of you guys may know the Rodney O Podcast channel features and focuses on the 3 F's, faith, finance, and fitness. And so be sure to check out my other series on this channel, my faith series titled Survival Guide to 2021, John's Instruction Manual. That is continuing on. I have my fitness series with my good friend Charles Furman titled Faith and Fitness with Furman. Sometimes I have guests. And this is a financial series. And so just to give you a bit of background, I always like to do this because I want people to understand my background and why I know about this stuff. I was a licensed real estate agent in California since 1998, licensed broker since 2006. Worked in several different markets, helping clients buy and sell their homes. Worked with several different investors over the years. And so last year I became an investor myself. Sadly, I waited too long. I always say that, but I want to help other people dive into it as well. And so there's a lot of people out there who are ready to dive into real estate. And in particular, they want to invest. But fear is one of the major reasons why people avoid investing in real estate. And I'm telling you guys right now, don't be paralyzed by fear. Don't let fear stop you. One of the things that I read it the other day and I posted it on my Instagram story and I was like, that's it. That's what it's all about. That's how I feel. Is it said to become a billionaire, you need to make a lot of millionaires. And that is so true. I need to teach people, to bring them along, to have them invest with me, because I need to make them millionaires so they'll keep on producing and doing joint venture capitals with me and joint ventures with me so that I can go ahead and be a billionaire. And not that I want to be, to be honest with you, maybe one day I'll do a podcast on my view of money. It's not money. I'm not greedy with money, and money is not the end all be all with me, but that's a different story. But I do think it's important to learn how to grow money and to have money. So one of these days I'll do a podcast on my view on money. Maybe next podcast will be that. But anyway, I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about banks. And people, they're funny. They'll keep their money in the bank because they feel safe. They want to make sure that they don't lose their hard-earned money. And trust me, I understand that. I get that 100%. I truly understand that, right? But first off, I want to say that I'm not against banks. Banks make it convenient to do a lot of things, to exchange currency. You get your debit cards. That's one of the greatest inventions with being able to pay everything with debit, right? Because no cash is needed. You don't need to carry on cash that can get lost or stolen. is secured digitally. And some people may be scared with that. I think people are more used to it now, but it's held digitally. And I know there's some people who are apocalyptic. I understand that, in the apocalypse, that may become a problem. But I think at that period of time, you got bigger problems and bigger issues to worry about than your money being locked up electronically. Anyway, so there's that. There's direct deposit. You get paid. You can just have the money go straight to your bank account. No waiting for checks, no needing to get a check to go to the bank and wait in those lines. Banks are inefficient anyway. Sometimes I have to go to the bank to ask a question or do something that I can't do by phone or I can't do without being in person. I dread it. Some banks do a good job of being quick, with their lines, but some I dread. And then you can transfer a large sum of money without carrying a cashier's check. You don't have to go in there and get a cashier's check for, $70,000. You can just wire it. Which is great. And it prevents check holds and all of that stuff. So they're very good about exchanging currency and very convenient. But also banks can help in my financial endeavors. Car loans. I'm going to get a car loan, go to the bank. Credit cards, lines of credit, business lines of credit, home equity lines of credit, the HELOC, home equity line of credit, home loans, buy a home, you need to get a loan. Investments. Banks can help you with investments. But those things I just listed off on that list, there are better alternatives for most of those things. Not all, but most that I listed off. There are better ways to get those and better alternatives. For example, car loans. Cash, is the best for cars. I'm paying cash for it. And the best thing is to have cash flow from an investment that will pay for your car. That's the best way to do it. And the reason is because cars, they're depreciating. They're a depreciated asset. You buy it off the lot, it automatically depreciates. It's a necessity. I'm a car guy. I love cars, but I learned that, why take a loan for a $50,000 car when I can take $50,000, maybe even if I have to borrow it and put it into an investment that can bring me cash flow and use that cash flow to pay for a car or pay for car payments if I want car payments. Much better way to do it, right? Because if you do it that way, you have an asset that is going to continue to give you money no matter what, monthly, right? And it's growing in value because it's being paid off, being paid down. So that's the best way to do it. You just get a car loan, the money is just going out the window, right? And banks get that interest. Credit cards, usually it's the interest you're paying for it, and usually you're using credit cards for things that depreciate again. The worst thing to do is have a balance and it's food you ate months ago. It's clothes that you don't wear anymore. It's for crap that you bought that's not even important to you anymore. And you're still paying for it. You're paying interest on those things. That's what a lot of times people use credit cards for. And again, the interest goes to the bank. Lines of credit. Now, this is something that's useful. A line of credit can be useful, especially if you use it the right way. If you use it the right way, it's very useful. And this is why I'm saying I'm not totally against banks. If you use banks right, they can be beneficial. Home equity line of credit is attached to your home. Puts more liability on your home because you got another loan. So you have your regular mortgage, maybe unless you paid it off, and then you have a home equity line of credit. It can be good if used correctly. But again, being attached to your primary residence, if it's attached to an investment, fine. I'm all for that. Primary residence, it's not totally bad in my opinion, but it's something that I would probably avoid. Home loans is necessary. Home loans is a necessary thing unless you have cash for your home. And maybe there's one time I'll do a podcast on, do you pay off your home or not? And that really depends on a lot of different factors. But home loans, you're going to need a bank to do that. And then investments. And it depends on the rate, typically like for my investments, hard money, is not bank money, it's private money. And banks are tight on investment lending. So it may not be your best bet for that. So that's kind of an overview of banks and what they do and their products. Not an exhaustive list, but a list nonetheless. So the one thing I think people miss out on is their return on their money when they keep all their money in the bank. So I think the bank is good for, if I sum it up, checking account, only depositing enough for monthly expenses. Only depositing enough for monthly expenses. And then a savings account, only enough to access in case of emergency. So outside of those two things, I think your money is better used elsewhere. The reason of that is because of your return. Savings for emergencies is very understandable. That's what you need to have that. If you want to transfer money at the drop of a hat, either online or just going to the bank, you want to be able to do that. You don't want all your money tied up. So an emergency comes up, you have to wait 2 days or 3 days to get it out or sell something or, request it. You don't want that, right? You want some cash available. Checking accounts, are good for monthly expenses. And I would suggest, only keeping enough for your monthly expenses. So for example, you may have monthly expenses of $6,500 a month. So you want to keep $6,500 a month deposited each month into that checking account. So you budget and say, okay, it's going to cost me $6,500 for all my bills this month. That's what I want to deposit into my bank account. We're going to stay on budget. Food, everything else. That's what we spend. And that method not only helps you stay on budget, but it prevents you from overspending. It's also a way to make sure that every bit of your income that's left over is being used and working for you for your benefit. And let's go back to savings account for a second. Savings accounts, is basically for emergency funds. And it's up to you, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. That whatever you want to feel comfortable with is what you want to keep for expenses. So again, using that $6,500 figure, if you want 3 months emergency funds, what's that? That's $19,500, right? So we keep $19,500 in the savings account. That is fine. But most people have a few reasons why they stay in a savings account and put all their money in there. One, the biggest thing is security. But interest rates, on average, I looked it up, is 0.04%. That's the average on a savings account. And even if it's generous, let's say 0.1. Suppose the bank is 0.1%. That's still horrible. After 1 year, if you have $1,000 in a savings account, it's $1. And your money is sitting there to earn $1 a year. So if all your money is in there, that's all you're getting back. Another reason why people stay in the bank and have savings accounts is they're scared of other investments. I would say stocks and mutual funds over time, they're the best for you. They're safe. They have higher returns than the short term. The short term stuff that are volatile. It's not my cup of tea. Having large swings up and down where you can lose everything and something that's volatile, I don't like that. So mutual funds, I'm pretty safe when it comes to that. I'm very conservative. I'm the wrong person to talk to if you're talking about investing in a very diversified system of stocks. And one day I'll have a guest that can speak into that. But for me, I'm not that guy because of that. Money markets accounts that earns more interest than a savings account. Yeah, that's decent, but it's old school, I think. I think it's decent, but you can get a better return elsewhere. Because real estate has some of the highest and fastest returns. And the thing I want people to think about with savings accounts, this is huge. The bank is investing your money. They're using your money to give out the car loans. They're using your money to give out the home loans. What rate do you think they're getting on your money? So when they're paying you 0.1% and they got a credit card out there that's earning 20%, if they're giving you 0.1% on your money and they have home loans that are getting right now 2.5%, 3%, if they're giving you 0.1% on your money and they are giving car loans at 6%, 4%, bad credit, 10%, 11%, 12%, they're raking it in. They're taking your money and using it and making huge returns and giving you pennies. And that's what I want people to realize. Your money is being invested whether you're aware of it or not. Now, I will give them this. Banks are federally insured. I give them that. But outside of that, your money is being parked in there and just being useless. So why won't you invest it in something that can give a higher return? And full disclosure, yes, I invest in real estate and I plan to get people to partner with and invest with me so I can do more deals and more volume. So yeah, of course, but I can give and we can get higher results higher returns than a bank can. And that's basically the how does real estate make better use of your money. There's a few ways. The physical, it's a physical object, always worth something. So, for example, if I own a property, for those who are scared of a currency change, the dollar's going away or whatever, you will always have value no matter what the currency is, because you have a tangible object, something you can barter, trade, sell. It will always be worth something. I mean, look at the history of real estate. The asset holds or increases value over time. Now, there may be fluctuations, but realize besides the value that real estate can provide, it's also something that can provide you with what? Ongoing cash flow, meaning monthly payments if you rent it out that can come to you. You can use those to pay off the property. And that's why, let me go on a tangent a little bit. That's why I always tell people all the time, about the cost of something. It doesn't matter. Think about the numbers. If market rent can cover the expense of the house, then that's a good deal, no matter what the cost of the house is, because that market rent is going to cover the payment of the house. And that will have the house go down, go down in the balance of the mortgage against it until one day it's low or gone, and all of that comes to you as cash flow. Then when you're ready to sell it, you have that money plus the appreciation that may have happened into it, and you didn't even pay for it. So the numbers matter. Good market, bad market, whatever you want to classify it as, numbers matter. Well, here's the common ways to invest. You get the good old house hack. I did a podcast on that before. Buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex, live on one side, live in one unit, rent the other ones out. Great house hack. Great way to get started in real estate. Fix and flip. Find a rehab property, fix it up, flip it. Buy and hold. Buy something, hold it, rent it out. A fix, a BR or a BRRRR is a good method to, you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Basically you're buying something, increasing it in value, refinance it, pull whatever you can out of it, rent it out, and go on to the next. Great system. Apartment syndication. Great way to gain some good wealth. Getting an equity partner, getting people, to partner with you. So if you have money and you want to invest and you don't want a house hack, you don't want to fix and flip by yourself, you don't want to buy and hold, you don't want to do apartment syndication, which $100,000 is usually what you need for that. Just to even enter the door to join a syndication. An equity partner is a great way to go too. Hey, I know somebody who knows what they're doing, and so let me let me partner with them and split the profits. Or get a portion of the profit, whatever deal you guys work out. Or financing. That's a good way too to get real estate, is say, private money deal. Hey, I'll give you some private money, and the bank, the bank, if I have my money in the bank, it's only getting 0.1%, but I'm going to get 8%. I'm going to get 10%, 10% return on my money, make payments. And that's a good way to get cash flow by financing other people's deals. So if you're interested, I'm creating a list of those who want to start investing in future projects. Because in a few months, I'll begin looking for more fix and flips. I'll be buying and holding more properties. But with that, I'm still deciding. But I think, with buy and holds, I think financing option, if you want to join in with me, is the best and only way to go. I think it's hard for somebody to buy and hold a property with somebody else, besides apartment syndication, which is a little different. Short-term rentals. Again, financing options only. I think it's a way that, if you want to finance a project and get, a term and get monthly payments, that's a good way. Let me give an example of what I mean by financing. Financing is, hey, I'm going to buy this short-term rental. $50,000 is what I need to get into it, and so I'm going to have the seller finance the rest of it. So for your $50,000. Because it's going to be, an investment for you, and you make it worth it. I'm going to go ahead and pay you 10% interest and make you monthly payments on it, and it would be due in 2 years. And the payments will be interest only. So you would give somebody $50,000. You would give me $50,000. I'd pay you monthly. I don't know what it'd be, $1,000, $1,200, whatever it may be, interest only payments. At the end of 2 years, I still owe you $50,000. Right. And that's a good way just to get extra money. So basically, if you think about it, that 50 grand is the bank, quote unquote, where you're holding it with me. I do monthly payments to you. And then in the 2 years, you get that 50,000 back. Whatever payments I made over 2 years, over 24 payments, you get to keep. If it's $1,000, then that's $24,000 you made off of 50,000 in 2 years, right? Pretty good return. So that's what a financing option looks like. And so after that, probably in about a year and a half, I'm going to start looking into apartment complex to syndicate. Feel free to DM, text, call, email me. The information will be in a podcast description if you want some more information on how to get in and how to do future deals with me. And as for this channel, this podcast, still looking to do some more podcasts and videos for you guys as far as different avenues of finance. I should have had somebody on crypto, but that I plan to do that in the future. But continue to support and spread the word of this podcast. Again, other financial topics will be coming soon. All right. Well, please feel free to dialogue with me. My YouTube channel, Rodney O, shows that I am living what I speak. Please be sure to subscribe to that channel. The link is in the podcast description, or you can simply go to YouTube and search Rodney O. Remember this. I want to inspire, encourage, and motivate all of you guys as you navigate this journey that we call life. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one.